That's one of the biggest diseases in our culture, is that we get to a certain age and we get set in our belief systems.
That's dangerous.
Look at most of our senior citizens and the people that should be elders. They are stuck in the same belief systems they had probably from childhood.
Yep.
And they're unwilling to grow. And that rigidity, that unwillingness to change, is really a sickness.
It is.
Elders really inspire me.
Yeah.
People who are doing what they love to do, and what I love about him, what I love about you, and what I love about all of my teachers that I study with, from White Eagle to Jeffrey Armstrong to Dr. Kareem, is that they're continuously learning.
Yes.
They're not stopping. Every time I come back to class, William Chen is telling me, "Oh, this is what I figured out this week."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You've been doing this for 75 years," and he's still figuring out how to express what's moving through him while he's doing Tai Chi to me in better and better ways. And that just so inspires me. And so we just have such a love affair, such a joy of practicing together, of exploring together, and, just perfecting this form.
And I had Master Fong Ha, you see. He blew my doors wide open beautifully and simply. I went to Fong Ha because I saw that there was a real disease in our culture with, because I worked with so many elite athletes who were just burning themselves out constantly and mainlining Red Bull and coffee and every other damn thing you can think of, and coming to me with gym bags full of pills and, the crazy shit. And I had worked with a number of Tai Chi teachers and so-called masters, and I found even they were stuck in their head. And because I had a background in inner arts from self-realization fellowship meditation, and I'd studied Osho's dynamic meditations and everything I could get, I've got Osho's entire library, as you know, it's sitting right next to you. Well, what I did is I went to Fong Ha as part of writing my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, because I had this concept of taking the principles of Tai Chi, and I'd read multiple books on the development of Tai Chi, where it came from and how it got formed. And so I was really wanting to find a true master of Tai Chi. And it was just by happen chance, I was doing what I normally do, traveling the world looking through bookstores, the best bookstores I can find. And I just found myself in the martial arts section, and there was this 3-volume set on the history of the great martial arts masters, going back for a long, long time.
Sure.
And I'm looking through this book, and it shows the lineage of Tai Chi masters, and right up to current was Master Fong Ha. And I look in there, and it says that he lived in San Francisco, California. And I thought, holy shit, that's not far away from me. I could get there in a couple of hours on an airplane. Drive to the airport, jump on the plane, I'll be there in an hour. So I searched him out, called him up, and said, I'm working on writing this book. And I explained, how I thought people were just burning out, and he totally agreed. And so I said, I'm looking to create a series of exercises that correlate with the energy centers of the body so that I can custom design my book so that people can identify where they're most out of balance and then know what inner exercises or work. I developed the concept work in, as you know, because everyone's so working out, which is yang. And so he was really excited, and so I did a series of gongs with him and went deeper and deeper. But by the time I got through my second gong practice, my clairvoyance, all my voyances, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, was so strong, it was like overwhelming. I really was like, I was being blown open so much that I was like tapping into the collective unconscious, and it was quite shocking at times. It was stressful. And so I long story made short, I had to work on a deal with my soul to only show me what it wanted me to show me, wanted me to see, because I was meant to help somebody.
Right.
But the point being is, when you get in contact with a real master, it doesn't take long. I mean, I worked with Fong Ha probably for a year, and he just gave me assignments to do. And then by that time, after 3 gongs, so that's 300 days, I had got the information and I had the evidence that I needed that these simple exercises were very powerful, and was able to then, develop the work and concept to the point that I could take it out to the world and know I had practiced it enough and mastered it enough that I knew for sure what I was talking about and could feel good about it. And that's why, it's one of the reasons why when I've worked with you and many others, I always say, look, if there's something you're passionate about, find out someone who's really good at it. That's how I built my whole knowledge base. I didn't build it going to a school. I built it traveling around the world saying, okay, who's the best at this? Who's the best at that? And I spent, probably the first 20 years of my career living on airplanes almost every weekend, going to some seminar from, the Czech Republic to wherever I had to go to learn. And I think, that you've really had the same experience.
And if I could just say something about that. I think that's one of the biggest diseases in our culture is that we get to a certain age and we get set in our belief systems.
That's dangerous.
Look at most of our senior citizens and the people that should be elders. They are stuck in the same belief systems they had probably from childhood.
Yep.
And they're unwilling to grow. And that rigidity, that unwillingness to change, is really a sickness.
It is.
One of the things that I learned, and I was so inspired by you, is essentially what you just said. If anyone has come to your library and you open up any one of your books, I'm talking about the most incredible notes that just blow my mind. Red pens, yellow pens, black pens, notes in the margins, notes in the table of contents. Sticky notes in every single book. Thousands of books, notebook after notebook after notebook after notebook of notes that you've taken. And, for me, I picked up on that. I said, wow, this is really about never stopping learning, never stopping exploring, and just having this thirst for knowledge. And so, I just have seeked out, just like you said, I've had a privilege of having the financial success from my early part of my life, but I've seeked out, how many countless people have I heard on your podcast that I said, hey, Paul, can you give me that email?
Yeah.
From James Tunney to Laurel Erica to Jeffrey Armstrong.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Dr. Kareem, but you knew him before, but I remember you
James Wanless.
Yeah. I remember years ago when Kara she came across something that she was asking me about geometry and energy, and I said, well, you might want to look into this biogeometry stuff. Yeah. And then you got into the training. Angie went through the training.
Yeah.
And, you and I know that Dr. Kareem and I got together. And
that's totally changed our life. Actually, Kara got in first. And when I saw how powerful it was, I said, I need to take this training myself.
Yeah.
Then we got the house that we're currently in. We had a practitioner come out, actually 3 biogeometry practitioners. It's very advanced level of biogeometry beyond where I'm at, to be a practitioner, to go into someone's home and do it at that level where you're correcting all the grid lines and, really creating the highest level of BG3. And when I felt the effect of that, I said, oh my God, this is like nothing I'd ever experienced. As you know, I was living in New York City in years prior. And when I got first turned on to the poison of the EMFs in the environment, which I knew nothing about, I had a building biologist come to my house and take a reading in my bedroom, and I had 100,000, megahertz or whatever. I don't know what
I think you told me at the time was 26,000 times the safe limit.
Yeah.
You were. I remember you were having some health problems, and your kids and Jackie.
Yeah.
And I said, Jason, you need to look around to see if there's any cell phone towers near you.
Well, when I looked around, I saw about 5 pointed right at my bedroom.
Right.
And when the building biologist came in, he said, this is like beyond unsafe,
Because I saw all the symptoms of EMF stress on you.
And, and when you're living in New York City or you're living in a condo building or anywhere in the world and you turn on and you're looking for a Wi-Fi and you see
50 of them.
25 plus, it's off the phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have enough space for all the Wi-Fis.
Yeah.
So, just to kind of wrap up the story, we had to move out of our, penthouse apartment on Bond Street and totally renovate the whole place to shield it, like become a Faraday cage. And it was like a freaking $500,000 plus renovation to put shielding paint on the walls and then put something over that, put film on the windows, put the shielding material under the carpets, do all of these different things, have switches to turn off the power, have switches to turn off the Wi-Fi. And when I met BioGeometry, and when I realized that through the use of simple shapes like a cube in your house, or a little L90 sticker that you could put on your Wi-Fi unit, and then you could, for $12, $16, or $200 for the home kit, you could revolutionize your experience and actually not have to block anything, but bring up the level of BG3 so high that you're just kind of resonating with that, and the other stuff is just noise. So, right now we're working with Dr. Kareem and Dareya to build our whole entire house. That we're building from the ground up, from the design of the house to the orientation of the house on the land to the shape of the driveway. Every single building material that's going into our house, we're keeping so that they could harmonize in a material wheel to bring all BG3 to every material in the house.
It's wild.
The placement of the garden. We were on FaceTime with Dr. Kareem and Dareya while they were sitting in their living room and trying to pinpoint the exact place to put our well so that we could hit BG3 water.
Wow.
So it's just been such an amazing relationship working with them. I mean, I really just love them. And I know that, you've grown such a beautiful relationship with them as well. It's been so fantastic.
Dr. Kareem is, honestly, of all the people I've met in the world, I have to say he is, I can't think of anybody that's wiser, deeper, more spiritually connected, more honest, more loving. I mean,
I would also add generous to that. I mean, he's such a big heart. He's such a big heart.
He's just like, he's really an incarnated Buddha. He reminds me, his energy is like Penny. He's just capable of almost anything.